Hello, Splinter players. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to do another short tutorial video and more about not so much the tool here, Flavius. I will get into that a little bit, but I do want to talk more about the game Splinterlands and maybe some of the motivations I had about building this Flavius tool that I'm making available for the community. Because I've been feeling a little um, I'm trying to find the right words for it, but there's a promise behind blockchain gaming, blockchain-based gaming, and I really think that there's something there, something that can grow certainly and turn a lot of industries upside down. And I really think that Splinterlands can really lead the way here. And I just feel like with some of the issues I've had with um, the game server APIs and just hoping that they could, I know they're really busy with scaling issues and with major feature development, but just really hoping that they could also support the third party developers out there that are trying to broaden the community, trying to, bring value to the community around gameplay. Because really, at the end of the day, without the gameplay, all of these great market transactions that happen on chain, wouldn't be as valuable without the gameplay. And really, to get more, people to play, they need to be, you know, they need to have hope in the fact that they can get better. And that's what I'm trying to do. At the end of the day, give them that hope by giving them tools so that they can rank up and earn more. Because there's an equation here where people aren't earning enough, even with investments that they make, with money that they're putting in towards renting and buying. There should be an expectation, there should be a plan, a realistic one where they can make that money back and then a good chance of it of earning more. And without them getting better in the gameplay, then I don't care if what kind of market transactions there are across the different economy tokens that we have in the game. They're not going to be worth any value if you're not bringing in and growing the community around gameplay. And from that, what is gameplay? Well, it's about, in this game, it's about the battle data. And what I think is really kind of fascinating to me is who owns the battle data. Like right now, to me, if what I figure is on chain is public domain. Hive is a public blockchain. No one claims ownership of all the data under Hive, right? It's just there's no centralized authority there. There's a bunch of voted um, block producers, and if they get shut down by any kind of host government, it's okay. There's a whole bunch of other block producers there that haven't been voted into above the 21 member voted in threshold. But when those servers go out, well, guess what? Those people are going to move up above that line, and so there will always be, given enough size with the network, always be the requisite number of block producers that you need to keep that blockchain going. And I'm not sure if people understand or really appreciate the fact that's what decentralized gaming would bring. One thing I'm really worried about is that the US government will come down and shut down the game servers for Splinterlands. I mean, those servers, I don't know exactly where they're based, but I know they're using AWS, and Amazon is a US company. So the government can come in there and, you know, with their warrants and shut down those servers. Um, and where does that leave us? Where does that leave us where, we all operate under the promise of a decentralized gaming platform where we've invested for a lot of us a significant amount into the game under the hope that this public blockchain based game becomes even more decentralized to prevent something like that from happening. And then when I see things where they're not supporting third party developers in that, I feel like they're not living up to that promise. And you know, when I see more traditional ownership, being bought by private entities, outside of blockchain, off chain. That's more more indication of them, not following this promise, and I worry about that. And so I just, with the Chaos Legion private sales and with the lack of third-party developer support, the lack of battle data being on blockchain, and the only way you can get that is, well, like, there's some, I should say, back up. There is some blockchain data that are about battles, but the most important piece of that battle data is the actual results, and those are not, that part of the data isn't really on chain. You have to get that from the game server APIs. So I'm okay with that. I mean, I know it's a process. I know it takes time to get a developer with all their other priorities that they have to get something built. I mean, a decentralized organization around gaming is not something that you would expect to happen tomorrow. It's a movement, right? It takes time. But I would like to see some reassurances along the way that they're living to that they they want that to happen. And I know they say that in AMAs, but when I ask for support and I don't get it, I kind of wonder, what's going on? Do they not want to make all of their public blockchain battle data on chain? Why do they not want to do that? And it's a question all of us should ask, because at the end of the day, the only way we protect ourselves from government censorship is decentralizing the key intellectual property of this game, and that's the battle data. That's the battle engine. You have to make that public. So there's a risk to the company, of course, when doing that. You risk more competitors, because, I mean, even now, the cards that you own are NFTs. And those cards, since you own them, you can actually play on different platforms. Now, the battle engine on those different platforms may be different, because Splinterlands doesn't make their battle engine public, right? So, would those competitors make better battle engines? I don't know. But there's a risk there. If they make everything public, then it would be exactly the same. And so, those competitors can leapfrog Splinterlands and make the battle engine more, fairer, better, whatever. So I can see that. I can see that as a business decision. But look at Splinterlands today. They've been innovative. They've been forward-looking. They've been at the edge with games using blockchain. So don't get into this pattern, Splinterlands, where you're happy with where you're at. That's when death happens, right? You got to keep pushing. You got to keep innovating. Even you're on the blockchain edge today. You got to keep innovating. And what does that mean? That means you got to find ways to still be viable, to still grow, to still have influence and share by putting everything public, by making everything public domain, by making everything decentralized. And I would love to see that. And I would love to see their actions reflect that. And, I don't know. I'm just feeling a little frustrated that the fact that I make this tool, Flavius, I was using it myself. I was just wanted to make sure it's helpful. And I'm using, their battle data that I get from their game server APIs, not from blockchain, because I don't get what I need from blockchain, right? Because they don't put it there. And I'm okay with that, because I know it takes time. But, when I see lack of support, and I'm a small player, but I'm hoping to, get a bigger community around data analytics, because that's a key thing here, right? What's key about the success of this game? It's not because they created a couple of tokens. It's because they created gameplay around NFTs. The gameplay is what's important. It's always been. And the fact that you can earn. And now, of course, these are two important things. The gameplay is just as important as the game economies, based on these tokens, which is fine. But just to ignore the fact that you've got third-party developers just wanting to develop to increase the size of this community, that want to reinforce the idea of decentralized gaming, of bringing this, something that we always talk about equitable distribution of wealth for this game that is generated by the game, it's a good idea and one worth pursuing to the very end to see how far can this go. I don't know. It's all an experiment, and I don't want Splinterlands to stop where they're at right now. Keep going. Keep making it more decentralized. You guys are smart enough to figure out how you can keep your share while getting more decentralized. I believe in that. You guys are the creators of this game. You deserve the share that a creator should have. How do you protect that share? How do you retain that share? Do you even want that share, right? Because, dilution happens in traditional ownership because you're you're spreading the wealth, because that's the only way you're going to get that wealth is by spreading it. So I don't think that's going to change whether it's centralized or not. So, I hope you guys are okay with me ranting a bit, but I think it's positive ranting. I like what this example is. I like how other game publishers are looking at how NFTs are being leveraged to, bootstrap a game economy that's enriching a lot of people, a lot of game players. And that's a wonderful thing. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to be able to say I can support a family by playing a game, and the game has a real economy. And so, you're doing something that humans are interested in, and that's worthwhile, right? So, um, that's that's all I hope to get across, is that it's a positive message. I think this is a good thing, and I just hope that there's better support for third-party developers. Because even myself, I cannot do anything with public domain data. I can't make it private. It's already public. So there's nothing I can build on top of this that would really be private. Um, my goal is to make this tool very helpful to build trust within the game community, because one day my team, we would like to be voted in as a game oracle, and that's, again, that's a good thing. That's a good model. You got to build the trust to be able to do that. And I want to provide tools that are helpful so that trust can be built. And that's the new model, right? That's the new web model for business. And it's a theory. It's not a fact. No one knows where this decentralized ideal can go. No one knows how far it can go. But I think in terms of mainstreaming normies as fast as possible, as wide as possible, I think gaming is really has a good shot at that. And Splinterlands has done something amazing where it's you see how it's working. With the way they did the PayPal integration, with the way they can, seamlessly bring in fiat and then have that turned into crypto, is something every guy who got into blockchain wished happened 10 years ago, and is happening now, and with gaming. So I hope you guys are just as passionate as I am. I hope you guys let the game publisher know as much as I do that we really appreciate them, talking the talk about decentralized gaming, and hope to see more of that in the future. So sorry if I'm ranting too much, or if you think I'm getting onto a soapbox and not making any sense, but I'll stop there. We'll talk about Flavius more. I got more ideas on more videos. We got a lot more to discuss. I got to discuss a whole bunch of things in here, some plans I want to add onto here, and because of the recent issues with the battle replays, I think I need to add more to the expanded row, where I show, in addition to the team that is showing up from the result of the meta filter and team filter, also show the opposing team and the monsters that make up that. Because the only way you could really see that is do the battle replay as of now. And so I need to, because of the whole issues with the battle replay, I need to go ahead and add that. And so I'll probably make that a priority and add that. It'll probably clutter up the expanded row, but I'll try to make it as clean as possible. So Again, thanks for your support. Your support really, especially my Twitch subscribers. Please go to my Twitch channel and subscribe because that's how I pay for the server costs. You know, I just do this part time. This is not a full time job for me. I have a full time job, so I just really appreciate any support I can get. Because you know this is not something that I would do if there was no community interest, and that would be reflected on the amount of Twitch subscribers I have. So I'm realistic. If there is no interest, and obviously I'm not going to just keep doing this for the community if there's no interest in the community for this kind of tool. Um, all right. So I'll see you. I'll talk to you guys next time very soon. Another video will be popping up. I'll probably be talking about the point and cumulative mana cap. But you know, the database is consistently growing. We have, since we last talked, a few thousand more silver teams and gold and diamond teams. And so yeah, I look forward to doing the next video. Thank you for your time.